So welcome back to another video, and today you join me in a Tesla Model Y, and I will be demoing the new adaptive high beams, which can selectively dim pixels on the high beam to reduce glare for other drivers. And that means it can basically keep the high beams on for longer, which you can see by this symbol. When this symbol is blue and this dip symbol is gone, it means the high beams are active. And you may be able to see that for the front facing camera, and you'll be able to see the pixels come on and then dim itself automatically. And with a recent software update, the lights are now able to kind of follow your turn. So the low beam lights will be able to kind of go a bit left, a bit right to follow your turn and further better illuminate the road which you're driving on. They're already really good before. I mean, Tesla has one of the best headlights currently, but this update really further enhanced them. You'll even be able to see now, even though we're on a pretty decently lit motorway, this symbol is actually still on. And recent update actually allowed these matrix LED lights to come on even in these motorways, and they basically throw their beam even further without causing glare for the other drivers on the other side of the road. I don't know if the car's picking it up, but I mean, if you kind of move it there, you may be able to see it. Some cars sometimes just pop in, pop out there. So there's that, and then we'll also be demoing the Tesla Autopilot, because of course, I mean, this camera won't really catch it, but essentially this recent update enhanced the amount of visualizations this Autopilot shows, and I'm curious to see whether it did improve Autopilot. So we'll be taking it through a bit of tougher corners. Most of this road is pretty straight that I'm demoing it on, but we will be taking it through some of these corners, and these corners will allow you to see how well the car is able to steer, keep its lane, and slow down and accelerate slow down before corners and accelerate after corners. So without further ado, let's go to those roads. This is that was horrible. There was no one around me, so I let it, do a bit of that squirmish behavior it was doing there. But if there were people nearby, that would be horrible. It was speeding up to basically do who knows what. Back up to 100. It should have just started slowing down there, but I don't know why it just started speeding up, and kind of didn't know what lane to go into. If it just stuck to one lane, the speed would have been unacceptable, but at least it wasn't super uncomfortable. This was just uncomfortable, going left and right all over the place, so that's minus points right there. Now that warning was not actually a takeover, that was a warning for the red light. So basically, I can demo it again here. Okay, now it doesn't want to do it. But basically, the car was trying to stop me from going through the red light. Now that red light was not for me. That red light was for the right turn lane. And obviously I wasn't in the right turn lane, I was continuing straight. Also, the navigation data says that I should be continuing straight, but the car obviously panicked, told me to stop. Even though it brought up the take over immediately with the red hands of death, it doesn't disengage Autopilot. It lets Autopilot stay on, which is good because it did not need to disengage there. And of course, after that light, the warning went away and it was just going on as normal. Now I'm not going to touch the pedal here, but you can see that the car is actually resuming quite fast. Previously, I'm pretty sure it would actually take quite a while to resume, but now it's resuming at a decent speed. And let's see if it goes to the intersection with no problems. Definitely feeling a little bit of hesitation, but then once it clears, it seems that it wants to go. There is a curb on the left, fine. Now this lane does widen, and that was handled flawlessly. It did not freak out about the parked car over there. The lane, obviously splitting into two, did not freak about anything and went in nicely. Now this is the kind of road where we would expect the adaptive high beams to make the biggest difference. So let's see how well it does here. High beams are on. You should be able to tell from that forward-facing camera that the left side is significantly more illuminated. A bit of tuck-in for the parked car. Nice, that was really nicely handled. Some more parked cars up here, not on the road though, so it should not pose an issue for for Autopilot. There's a curb that's kind of sticking out, but not enough. You can see the visualization for the lanes is clearly like a bit off, but the car is able to handle it flawlessly. So that is good to know. I can tell that I can definitely tell that these adaptive high beams are really doing a good job. Like so far, it is illuminating the left side and the right side without the cars in front being, affected. And you can probably tell from the forward-facing camera as well that it has got those, like, you can kind of see the cutouts of where the cars are. Obviously, here's a right-hand turn. Now we do have to take over for this left-hand turn. It is a 60 zone. So obviously we are taking a left-hand turn here. Autopilot cannot do these kind of turns. It probably can't even visualize them correctly. So actually, we're going down this road. Apparently this is a 60 zone. Obviously it should not be going 60 here. This road is not that good. Now this is a slow corner, and Autopilot is slowing down. This is all Autopilot, not me at all. Ooh, definitely a little bit of a break, stopping and getting kind of close to the center. I wouldn't say it was that dangerous though. So we'll slow it down a bit here because it is a photo enforcement zone. But yeah, so far the headlights and Autopilot are doing a decent job. Actually no, the headlights are doing an amazing job. Autopilot is kind of doing a less impressive job, but hey, I mean you can tell from the forward-facing camera that it is blocking out that kind of front, which is great. I will end that trip and just take a right turn into this area here. Take a right turn into this street here and do a U-turn, go back onto the main readout road and give you another demo of the headlights. Actually, I can just park up here on the left. Now one thing I have to say is I can do a U-turn here. High fidelity park assist is a nice to have. Compared to ultrasonic sensors, it is a bigger improvement than you may think. So let's actually see if it's got its... Okay, now it says I can't make it. I think I could, but like if this one says I can't, then I don't really trust it. Like I don't trust myself as much as I do this. I guess that's a way to put it. If this one says no, I will not go. Anyway, let's go back up this road and see how Autopilot does on these sharper bends. Now high beams are actually active here. So as you can see, as this vehicle kind of comes by, it turned off, which is good. Now I have had some instances where as the car passes in front, the high beams do not switch off fast enough. Okay, this is definitely not an 80 zone. Nope. This is definitely not an 80 zone. It's a 60, I think. Yeah. So the speed limit is wrong. That's not down to Autopilot. I think that's down to map data. But yeah. It's a speed camera, so if we put this back to 82 max, it will not go 82 just because there are vehicles in front. If there was no one here, it would definitely try accelerating to 82. So definitely keep that in mind. It's not like America and Automax where it'll automatically adjust the speed. It is definitely not doing that. It'll just go as fast as it can. If you set a speed, it'll do whatever it can to achieve it. Now here's the right turn. I mean, to be fair, we are going slower. There's no oncoming traffic. There's some. Brake should not brake there. So that was not, it did it, and it wasn't super uncomfortable. It was definitely smoother than previous versions. Previous versions would definitely have slammed the brakes on there and kind of jolted its way around the corner, while this one seems to have more of a natural kind of response. Now let's see how well it does this bend, kind of close to the curb there. Might have just been me, but also I think it was kind of close to the curbs there. Now another instance where you got a car in front. So this way I will actually be taking us around. This is kind of a better route, so we can kind of use this road, and then I think we actually end up joining back on Redoubt Road through Murphy's Road, so it kind of is a loop in this case. Now actually you can see these high beams are on. I will note that adaptive high beams do kind of dip just a little bit when there is a car. You can see here, as we go past this car, the lights do come back. It definitely gets close to the center line on the side, but it does do a decent job. Bend. Let's see if it slows down. Okay, definitely not steering fast enough for that bend. Definitely not slowing down for this bend. Yeah. It needs to slow down for these bends. Now I can just lower the speed manually through here. There's no one behind me, so you know. But these are one new roads to me, and also the speed that Autopilot wants to attempt these corners at is way too high. Yeah. Now that 2 kilometers above the speed limit is my personal offset. I have it set to just go 2Ks above the speed limit in every speed zone, which is really only 1K over, because this car just reads 1 kilometer GPS over, so not that much. And that car, it picked up the car really early. That car's actually on its high beams, kind of slowed down there. I don't know whether it's for this corner or whether for the high beams, because I did see a post somewhere saying that the car is unnecessarily slowing down for like, or kind of aborting full self driving or autopilot because of these high beams. Now this is a hardware 3 car, so that could have something to do with it, but you know. And over there, that corner was handled pretty well, although at the exit it did start getting quite close to the curb. Autopilot is definitely not super good with the curbs. It will go over curbs, so you should be careful of that. Yeah. The way it slowed down there, no one behind me, so I let it do it. But you have to be cautious in these types of scenarios. If there are people behind you and they don't react in time, that you know you're slowing down, or not you but the car, yeah, that could be a sticky situation, not one that you'd want to be in. So close to the center, but not enough to take over. So you know, there's a turn coming up, so cruise control will actually start slowing me down. Let's see how much it slows me down to. 33 k's an hour, which, yeah, it's fine. This is a sharper corner because there are raised curbs on both sides. Now this is a nice road to test autopilot on. These lane markings are effectively non-existent. Let's see if I can... So actually, that would be the perfect demonstration. Those lights weren't obviously another car's lights, but they were just, you know, lights. And the car picked it up as another car's lights effectively and kind of turned the lights off in that scenario. Now Autopilot is not activating on this road. You can see it's kind of making its own lane lines, but oh, just missed it. But yeah, it's oh, there we go. Now there are speed bumps, and Autopilot will not slow for those speed bumps, so I do have to brake manually. So there's no point of activating Autopilot through this road unless I can get it to activate at a ultra low speed. Okay, not happening. So actually there are lines here, so maybe I've noticed if you have lines on just one side, it's typically, yeah, there we go, more likely to activate. So we'll go like 30 through here. Let's see, does it pass these cars or does it stop? Slowing down, passing. Oh, this is really weird. It's on the other side of the road. There's actually another car coming, so I will just take over because that is really weird. But it did pass the other vehicle, so that is good. Not that you should be using Autopilot in these scenarios, but like, Autopilot will not activate here. I want to activate for a split second, but obviously Autopilot will not get the roundabout done. Slow down to 45 here just because it is a tighter street. There we go. That was a slowdown. For what reason? I mean, you'll probably be able to tell when you look on this display itself. It'll actually, you know, tell you why it was slowing down. It'll highlight the object in gray. If nothing was highlighted, I have to maybe think the lights oncoming from the other vehicles, or maybe honestly, my best guess would be parked cars. Don't really see another reason why. Back here, another merge. We'll give it a little indicate. If you, ooh, yeah, that was like thing. There's no one there, but oh, see now, look at that. Like, there are these scenarios where, like, if this car gets just trained on the AI, and it just knows that it's a merge, they'll get in between the lanes and it's fine. That would be great. But because it's not doing that, it's just behaving really weirdly because it's trying to keep centered in the lane, but it, you know, doesn't know the lane is so wide. There's 2 lanes. It's gonna go all over the place. So that's a problem. Now, one thing which is not that, like, it's kind of weird, because when you think about it, that's why it does it. But then at other times, the lane goes wide and the car sticks to the left or sticks to the right, depending on the road scenario. And in some scenarios, it seems like the car is, making its own way and not just following the lane lines. But in these scenarios, you see it's like it's trying to center. It's like weird. It's like sometimes it's really robotic, and sometimes it's really, just smooth and human-like. So as we go up this road again, we'll be able to see how this car, how it performs now going on the same curve that it failed at. Well, not failed at, but kind of did a bit weirdly last time. Now, as you can see, that guy moved out of the way, but it took quite a while for the car to, move again. So that is something. Now, it should probably slow down to like 40. I'd say 35 is acceptable, but I'd probably go 40 through this bend. Now, it's already beginning to slow down, and I can't really see the bend. I would assume that's all down to map data. Now 40, 30. Yeah, so basically, see, this time it was actually a lot better. Now, the first time, I don't think it threw up a warning, but it was like really weird. And then this time, it did it flawlessly. It actually did it really well, but as you can see, the lines on the screen were all over the place. So it was like, it did it better. And even this corner, now that was approaching the car kind of fast. Not horrible, but it did that bend a lot better. But I don't know, it did the bend a lot better, but it threw up warnings. The lane lines were basically all over the place. Hard to explain, really. Okay, this guy is going horribly slow. Why is he going so slow? Okay, here we go. Now, whatever. It did the bend really well. I'm actually really shocked how well it did the bend. I did not think it would be that good, but it just threw up warnings and the lane lines were all over the place. It does not give you that much confidence, but it did it well. And then the other time, it didn't do it as well, but it threw up no warnings and the lane lines were quite clear. So it was like a weird, like, why, so this guy is going so slow. Who knows? Anyway. Maybe he's turning in here somewhere because he's slowing down a lot. Nope. You're just driving like that, I guess. Is there anyone coming from behind? Because what I'm going to do is I might just turn into the street, because that guy is going super slow, go down, and then come back up where there's like no one. So, yeah. Okay, there's no one oncoming, so what I'm going to do is, since there's no one coming from anywhere, I'm just going to go here, kind of go across like this. Oh shoot, I really messed that one up. Just do a kind of a 3-point turn. Kind of knocked the camera out there, my bad. So we're approaching this bend here, and Autopilot will activate it here. I'm gonna wait for there to be no traffic. Okay, good. I do not want to have any traffic in front of me, so I can see how well the high beams react. So let's just push our way in, and now let's go here. Okay, 50 zone. Great. So now you can see as these cars are oncoming how the headlights react, and how that big truck in front. Let's see how it does with that. Still complete the corner, no problem though. So quite good. Now that warning, as you probably heard it a few times, when it goes straight to the red warning, it just means that it's not super confident. It wants you to be ready to take over. So just keep that in mind. There's going to be a car that's pulled out here. Let's see how well it goes for this. Right lane to go straight. I would prefer to be in the left lane, but also this lane is fine. It doesn't really matter. I can't get into that lane now anyway, so let's stop here. Let's just engage. But yeah, now as we're kind of ending, my wrapping up thoughts of let's start first with the headlights. As you saw throughout the whole video, they work really well. The headlights in this car are already good, but with the ability to turn in corners, obviously pivot the beam in the corners, that is a big thing. And obviously the matrix function, where it can actually dim a few pixels in the light so that it can keep the high beams on without blinding other traffic. That is obviously a really underrated feature. Deserves a lot more recognition because that's a really good feature. Now, this is obviously not the only car to get it or the first car to ever get it, but it's something that it has, and it should be more recognized because it's an amazing feature. Like, it works flawlessly, as you saw there. This recent updates have obviously made it a lot better than probably when it first came out, but even now, even back then, it was flawless. Now it's just even better, turning off in places where maybe their lights would not be able to react fast enough, like oncoming traffic when you stopped at a stop sign, that kind of situation. They seem to really be a lot better. So there's that. Autopilot, I feel like there are some improvements in some categories. Mostly it seems that it's like in most scenarios, sorry, I was just seeing the Tesla pull up beside. Anyway, most scenarios it seems like it's pretty much the same, but there are also some scenarios where it is like widely improved. Like, it is like 20 times better than like it was before. The way it can take some turns, and the way it has the confidence to go through and stuff like that. And when you're on the motorway, I mean, you can go hands off the wheel for like not 10 minutes. I think it was 6 minutes last time I timed it, 6-7 minutes. And it's like, you can go hands off and it's flawless. So yeah, Autopilot has definitely gone through quite a few improvements. And for example, I'm enabled in this corner, it's 102 I've set the max speed for, but because of the curvature and whatever, it's sticking to 69, which is great. Maybe Elon Musk did that, who knows. Yeah, merge here, let's see how it handles this merge. It's still jolty, but not as bad as before. So I can definitely say Autopilot has undergone some improvements. The visualizations, the new visualizations are great. The high fidelity park assist obviously is great. You probably saw that a few times. But my overall opinion on the Autopilot system is that it is great. It's still class leading. It's smooth for the most part, which is good. So it's mostly smooth until you throw it in some really difficult corners. It can get a bit uncomfortable if you're not used to it, how it sometimes gets too close to the center and stuff, but for the most part it is quite decent. Now we can see how it handles this lane ending actually really well. That was nice. So that lane basically ended on the left and the car had to move over right. I just threw an indicator on and went over. This car does not have auto lane change. That's the upgrade package, which this does not have. But yeah, that did that really well, so just fine. So yeah, my closing thoughts are Matrix headlights, the new Matrix headlights and headlight updates are amazing. Autopilot, amazing, needs some improvement in some scenarios, and I recommend they switch to AI-based Autopilot system instead of coded one. I think that they should just take FSD version 12 and then just strip it down to bare bones lane keeping or whatever they can. I don't know if they can do something like that where they just train the data only on lane centric, would be amazing. Which they probably have the data which they use to train FSD anyway. So if they just use that for a fully based system on Autopilot where it just only does lane centering, that would be amazing. Because then it would be able to be more natural when the lane widens and merges, stuff like that. It'll do it a lot better than it does right now. So yeah, those are my closing thoughts, and I hope to see you guys